Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond.
Hi guys, and welcome to our Victoria's Secret fashion show, Inspired Angel Wings.
So to start, you're going to measure out the width of your back. This would be from shoulder to shoulder. Ours was about 18 inches. And then you're going to want to add a couple extra inches as to how wide you want your wings to extend. So we added an extra 12 on each side.
So once you figured out your overall length, which ours is pretty much a meter, you're going to go to your local Home Depot or hardware store. And we just picked up some electrical wire. It's aluminum electrical wire. All the details are in the description. Basically, it's a wire that was really cheap. It was $1 a meter, and when you shape it, it doesn't move, but it's still flexible enough that you can shape it. So this is what you're looking for, something like that. So with your correct length wire, you're going to measure out on your floor the size of your back as well as where you are expecting your wings to end, and then even possibly the middle of your back. You're then going to fold your wire in half and open it up a little bit to make a V shape.
This V is classic to Victoria's Secret, and it also creates a really sturdy shape that will hold the wings. So you're going to have your V go relatively deep, and then you're going to bend the wire out horizontally once it gets to the ends of your shoulders. And then if you want, you can add a little flick going a little bit vertical at the end just for some shape. So next we took our feathers. We got 100 ostrich feathers. They were $20 off of eBay for all of them, not including shipping, which would vary. We bought the ostrich feathers because they look a lot more high quality than your generic craft feathers. We then took some gold glitter paint and painted along the spines of the feathers to make them a little fancier.
And you're just going to let that dry overnight. So going back to our bone/wire structure, you're going to draw out a basic oval shape that is kind of going to be the base of where your feathers are going to be glued to. The size of this oval and the shape depends on how many feathers you have, the size of your actual plastic, and where you want your wings to start and finish on either side. So you're going to want to use a thin piece of plastic for this. It has to be thin and flexible but still strong enough to hold all the feathers you're going to glue to it. We happened to find this at the dollar store. We used 2 cutting boards. So you can take the drawing that you drew on the craft paper and just also put it onto your plastic sheet and cut out that shape.
After cutting out the 2 shapes, you're going to glue them onto the wire bone structure. Just took a lot of hot glue and put the glue along the wire and place the plastic onto the glue.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. So shine bright. You like diamonds.
After this, we went back to our glitter paint and painted the exposed white wire with the glitter paint just to make it look a little prettier. Once it's dry, you can now hold this kind of base structure up to your back, and you can bend the wire so it curves a little better so it sits nicely on the shape of your back.
Next, you're going to take some thin elastic and pin it to the top of the V where your shoulders are, and then go underneath your arm and attach it to a lower portion of the V. Once you have put this on both sides, you're going to take it off and also take off the pins, and we just used hot glue to secure it, but if you want to use maybe a mixture of hot glue and a little bit of needle and thread, then that works too.
So next we bought these 2 bags of just plain white craft feathers, also from the dollar store. They were like $1 a bag, and we used these to cover the base of the plastic just so that our wings end up looking a little fuller and thicker when we were done. So you can just take these craft feathers and kind of lay them out nicely so they cover your plastic. Just put them down with some hot glue. Don't worry about being too neat with this because we will end up covering most of them anyways.
We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd from one right away. Oh, right away. At first sight, I felt energy of summer days. I saw the life inside your eyes.
Once you've done the front and back of your wings, we now get to move on to putting on the ostrich feathers. Out of our package of 100, we did 34 feathers per wing for the back nice side, and we did 19 feathers for the inside.
So we're next going to lay out our feathers on the wings before we glue them down, just so we make sure that we have enough to cover and they look nice and even and spread out. So start at the very edge of your plastic wings, and you're going to want to lay the feathers as close to the end as you can so that we make our wings as big as possible. So start from the top corner and kind of work yourself all the way down to the bottom, rounding it around the bottom of the plastic. And once you have that outer layer, you can kind of do the same thing but a little closer in, and then do another layer closer in until you make your way to the very inside edge of the wing.
Once you have them all laid down, you can take off the last couple layers that you did so that just the first layer is exposed, and you can just use some hot glue to glue them down.
Make sure you're just gluing the tips and don't get glue into the actual nice feather part, please.
Yes. As you lay them down, you're going to want each layer of feather to make sure that it covers the glued part of the feather before it. So you're just basically hiding everything as you work your way back.
And so you're going to repeat this process on the other side of your wings as well. And once you're done that, we're going to flip the wings over, and we'll be working on the underside now of the wings.
We're basically going to do this in the same fashion. You're going to be laying out all your feathers, but just make sure they're upside down because this is the inside of the wing, so theoretically it would be the inside, not the outside spine.
For this half, you don't have to worry so much about making your wings extra wide. Just worry about getting it fluffy on the inside because your backside is what gives you the length. So once you finish with that, make sure that you repeat the same thing on the other side as well.
Alright, and we're almost there. So our second last step was to get a boa. We got this one from the dollar store. And you're just going to cut off a small portion. You're going to use this to cover any of the glue marks or the ends of the feathers that you can see. So in an L formation, you're going to glue it kind of on the bone spine as well as working down any areas that you can see that are glued or anything.
So once you finish the inside, you can flip over your wings, and we're going to take a slightly longer piece of the boa and do the same L shape, but this time just have it a little bigger because the back is fluffier and bigger and beautiful.
And our very last step is to make your elastic blend in a little better. So we just took our gold paint again and painted the part of the elastic that overlaps on the V, and we kind of just like ombre'd it out towards the rest of the elastic. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know if you watch the Victoria's Secret Fashion Show every year. We will for sure be tuning in.
We hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you next week. Bye!
Bye!